Hello again and welcome back to the PhatPhish Guitar Studio. I'm Dave, and in this video we're going to be talking about using the pickup selection options that you have on an electric guitar and how they can interact with the various pedals that you might have down on your pedal board. It was inspired by this comment that was left on one of my other videos. Alton Rex 6495 says, what would you recommend for players just getting into electric guitars and amps in regard to learning how to work the tones of each pickup with the various settings on your amp? I just realized that each pickup has a profound range of tone that is expanded by the dynamic range of the amp. I'm playing a made in Mexico Tele with upgraded pickups through a 68 custom Princeton reverb amp, and I just recently decided to take what few effects pedals I own out of the signal train until I get a real grip on what the pickups can do individually and together with the amp alone. I'm hoping to see the path forward to add pedals to the signal path then. Any specific videos you've made along these lines or resources, books, etc. that you know of would be a great help. Sorry to intrude on your busy schedule, but I imagine I'm not the only one out there lost in the maze of minutiae who could pick up something from you. So that was a really nice question to receive. Firstly, because it was pleasant and polite and not offensive, which is not always the case with a lot of the comments I got on YouTube. But it's a really good question, because we've got lots of sounds available to us on an electric guitar from the pickups, and then when we introduce all the other things that we've got, like the voice of the amplifier, the tones that's available in the preamp, the various effects pedals that we put between the guitar and the amp, lots of things that can interact with each other and color and affect the final tone that we get. So what I thought I'd talk about in this video is, let's talk about like pickup switching just generally, and then look at how that the sound that comes from the guitar interacts with effects pedals. So most electric guitars that you come across will have more than one pickup. You might get some like old Junior styles with a single pickup, or like shredding rock machines from the 80s with a single bridge humbucker, but generally you will have two or more pickups on your guitar and some means of switching between them. So we're going to start with this Yamaha Revstar. It's got two P90 pickups, which is a fairly traditional style of single coil pickup. One in the bridge position, one in the neck position. Both the same type of pickup, just positioned differently on the guitar, and a selector switch that allows me to choose which one is being used. So currently it's all the way back, so we're hearing the sound of the bridge pickup on its own, tone and volume all the way up, and it sounds like this. So that's got certain tonal characteristics. By way of a contrast, we'll take the pickup selector switch all the way to the other extreme, and we hear just the sound of the neck pickup on its own. So you can hear a difference in sound between the two. Bridge pickup's got a bit more treble to it, it's got a little bit more bite, and the neck pickup is a little bit more bassy, a little bit more mellow, but it's the same basic voice. It's almost like an EQ change, if you like, because you're hearing the same type of pickup. So the characteristics it's got compared to something like, and come on to other pickups in a bit, but compared to something like a Strat or a Tele or a full like humbucker, it's still got that P90 type of sound. But what we're hearing is the difference between a bridge pickup and a neck pickup. Or I could put the pickup selector switch in the middle and hear them both together. Which is literally the sound of the bridge pickup and the sound of the neck pickup together. So this is something I'm going to say a lot in this video, and I'll try not to be too long-winded, but these videos usually end up being like that because I've got a lot of explaining to do. But something I'll say a lot is be familiar with your gear. understand what it is that you've got at your disposal. I get criticised so much on this channel when I do like gear demos, because I don't just play the guitar, just play the pedal. I'll actually explain what the controls do, so you can put things in context, so you can understand what it is that you're hearing and how the thing works. And that's really important, because if you understand your gear, you've got a better foundation to build on to be able to exploit it. So just taking this simple example with the three sounds, the bridge pickup, the neck pickup, or both, you can start to think about how you might want to use those in a real world context. So you might think, well, and this is no hard and fast rule, it's just an example. You might want to use, say, like the neck pickup for playing rhythm stuff. Something that's a little bit more bassy, and then when you come to play your solo, switch into the bridge pickup, have something that's a bit more cutting, and it'll make you like more present in the mix. You know, switch into the neck pickup for playing rhythm, so you're not going to be front and center when you're playing rhythm. That's going to be the lead singer, so you might want to just like back off a little bit and use the neck pickup for your rhythm work, and then use the bridge pickup for your lead work, where it's your turn to be in the spotlight a bit more and to really cut through the mix. That's a fairly common example, and if you look at a Les Paul guitar like this one, around the pickup selector switch there's a little, what they call like the poker chip, and that's labelled rhythm on the bass, on the neck pickup side, and treble on the bridge pickup side, which kind of gives you a clue that the intended use of the neck pickup is more for rhythm stuff, and the bridge pickup is more trebly. That said, there is a really valid use case for using the neck pickup for lead work, and that's jazz. You know, the jazz guys do it all the time, where they want a more softer, more mellow, more rounded sound, which jazz often demands, and that's to use the neck pickup, maybe roll the tone off a little bit. Yeah, if I played that with just the bridge pickup, you know, that's just a bit too harsh. It hasn't got that jazz feel to it. So you've got those options. No hard and fast rules, but like I say, be familiar with your gear, understand what you've got at your disposal, play it, and understand how it sounds, and try and put words to describe what it is that you're hearing. And this is really difficult to do. We use words like, you know, is it bright, is it dull, is it woolly, is it cutting, is it glassy, is it tight, is it open? All these words, and if someone just overheard guitar players talking about the sound thing, this is just absolute madness. But once you get into it, it does kind of start to make sense. Okay, so that's an example with the RevStar with the two P90 pickups. Now, I said these have a particular sound. They sound like P90s. They're single coil pickups, but let's try another guitar with single coil pickups. I'm going to switch over to a Strat. Okay, so we're back with my Fender Custom Shop Strat, and as you can see, this has single coil pickups. And it said that the RevStar, those P90s, are single coil pickup, but you can tell that these look different, and these pickups are made differently to P90s. They're still fundamentally the same, that you've got magnets and coils of wire, but the way that they're actually constructed differs, and you get a different sound. And that's really obvious if I take the pickup selector just to the back position where just the bridge pickup on its own. Yeah, that's much more bright, much more cutting. Again, you know, trying to come up with words to describe these things. But you can hear there is a real difference there between that bridge pickup and the bridge pickup on the RevStar. But if I go to the other end of the pickup selector, switch to just the neck pickup on its own, still got that same basic voice of a Strat single coil, but it exhibits the same characteristics as we saw when we flipped from the bridge P90 to the neck P90. It sounds a bit more bassy, a bit more rounded, a bit more mellow compared to the bridge. You know, the neck's just got that little bit extra warmth to it. And this is to do with the way that the string vibrates. It vibrates less near the bridge and it vibrates more towards the center of the string. So the magnetic field is disturbed in a different way as the string is moving through it. So we get a different sound. The sound that you get from an electric guitar pickup is all down to an electric current being induced when a steel string moves through a magnetic field. It's not influenced in any way by the way it sounds acoustically, the way it sounds to your ear. It's all to do with magnets and electricity. But we can hear a different sound because the common factor is bridge pickup is near the bridge, obviously, where the string vibrates in one way and that moves through the magnetic field in a particular way and causes the pickup to have a particular sound that's influenced by the way that the pickup is made, but it has those bridge position characteristics. And similarly, the neck pickup has neck pickup characteristics because of how the string is vibrating at that part of the guitar and how the string is moving through the magnetic field and inducing a signal within the pickup, the way that the pickup is made. Now this Strat is a little bit more versatile than the Rev Star in some ways because it's got 3 pickups and I can select them individually. I was to be honest, I was kind of underplaying the Rev Star. It's got some other pickup switching options I didn't cover because it wasn't relevant. But for the context of this video, let's talk about the 3 positions that we've got on the Strat. So we've got the bridge position, we've got a middle position, and a neck position. So in here, as we move from the back towards the neck, the sound gets progressively warmer and more mellow. As we go back, it gets a little bit harsher, a little bit more trebly. And again, if you get yourself familiar with your guitar and understand, well, how does that sound? What are the sonic characteristics that I hear? You can start to think how you might want to exploit it. Like I was saying before, you know, bridge position for something where you want to cut through a little bit more, neck position for something a little bit more, maybe it's a bit more rhythmy. But the neck pickup sounds great for lead stuff. You know, whether it's something jazzy, or if you're really shredding and you want something that sounds a lot more legato, using the neck pickup can be quite effective because if you want legato, you don't want that pick attack, and the pick attack is a bit more trebly. So by switching to the neck pickup, it takes some of that away. On the Strat though, you've got the middle pickup. The middle pickup is really useful for like funk rhythms. You know, that sort of thing. There's all sorts of different ways you can use the pickups. You know, if you've got a Strat, or, you know, whatever your guitar is, try the different pickup switching options and think about what is it that you're hearing. Try and analyze the sound. Now, like I was saying before, it's difficult maybe sometimes to put words to specific sounds. You know, what does glassy mean? What does open mean? You know, some words like warm, bright, maybe a little bit more obvious, but some of the more esoteric ones, it's a bit weird. But as long as you're consistent, if what you consider to be the sound of something that sounds glassy, if you have some sort of frame of reference for what glassy sounds like, and then you play a guitar, you know, whether it's got humbuckers or P90s or whatever type of pickups, if you hear that and think, well, am I hearing glassy, am I hearing open, am I hearing tight, am I hearing spongy? As long as you have a consistent frame of reference, then that's the minimum that you need. Now Strat has a couple of other options on here. So this is a 5-position switch, not a 3-position switch, so I can combine the bridge and the middle, or the neck and the middle. Now when I did that on the RevStar, you literally heard a summation of the two pickups. You heard the bridge pickup sound and the neck pickup sound. The Strat is a little bit different, because the way that the middle pickup is wound and the way that the magnets are magnetized means that when you put the two together, you don't get a simple sum of, say like in position 2, you don't get a simple sum of the bridge pickup and the neck pickup. You actually end up with something that sounds somewhat different. So here the bridge pickup, middle pickup. If I put the two together, can you hear that? It's got a different sound. It's a little bit difficult to describe, find a word. The word I'm going to use is stratty. For me, position 2 is the strattiest Strat sound. And that has a particular characteristic because of the way, like I said, the way that the middle pickup is wound and how it interacts with the bridge pickup. There's a similar thing if we go to position 4, where we've got the middle and the neck pickup together, compared to like the bridge, compared to the neck or the middle. Put the two together. Yeah, you can hear it's got a different type of sound to it. It's got that in-between Strat sound. So understand your gear, understand the types of pickups that you've got and how they sound, and listen to them together. So this is the fundamental voice of your guitar. Now that YouTube comment talked about taking effects pedals out of the signal chain and just concentrating on what are the tonal possibilities with the guitar pickups and the amp and how they interact. And that's a really good starting point. You really are on the money there. Taking some of the variables out and just listen to, well, what is my guitar basically capable of? What is the sound of the bridge pickup? What's the sound of the neck pickup? What's the sound of an in-between position? And understanding just how that sounds and thinking about how you could exploit that. I want to talk about effects, but before I do, I just want to talk about having different types of pickup. Loads of options here, but I'm just going to quickly switch over to another guitar just for the heck of it. So back with my Fender Telecaster. I thought I'd use this one because the guy who commented on the YouTube video originally he's using a Telecaster, so this is quite apt. The reason I picked this up is because the Telecaster has 2 different types of pickup, both single coil pickups. The bridge pickup looks a little bit more like a Strat pickup. This one at the neck looks completely different. It's narrower, it's a smaller sort of bobbin. Now if I go to the bridge pickup just on its own, that's got a different type of sound to the Strat single coil, even though it looks pretty similar. It's because it's a tele pickup. It's wound slightly differently. There's other factors going on, but it sounds a little bit different. But understand how that sounds. Now if we switch to the neck pickup, a little bit more mellow, a little bit more bassy, as you would expect because we're at the neck, but maybe not as bassy as you would expect. Because this has got a different type of construction, it's got a different type of sound. It sounds like a tele neck pickup. So again, it's something to be aware of. If you have a guitar, understand what the pickup types are. Now it might be like my Thompson there, where it's obvious I have 2 humbuckers, but these are different types. That's a tone zone, that's a PAF. Tone zone has a different sort of sonic footprint to a PAF. The 2 of them work together very well. that tone zone is actually quite fat, so you get the cutting sort of qualities that you get from a bridge pickup, but it's quite full because of the way that the pickup's made. Other guitars, you might have two pickups that look the same. My Williams there has two Seymour Duncans, but it's a JB at the bridge and a Jazz at the neck. They have their own particular voices, but they work in a bridge position sort of context or a neck position context. If you play guitar, you'll understand what I mean. But you need to spend some time familiarizing yourself with your guitar and the sounds that it's got. Now, as well as just having the pickups in some sort of combination, you may have some other switching options available to you. Again, my Thompson there has things like coil splits for the humbuckers to take them from dual coil to single coil. It's got a phase switch, which allows me to get a different sort of sound. As an example, I've got this on my Telecaster here. So I've got a pickup switching option where I can have both pickups together. Traditional Telecaster sort of arrangement, but I've got another option for the two pickups together. Two different sounds there, and it's the difference between having the pickups in parallel or the pickups in series. I've also got a switch here where I can take the pickups and switch phase. So I've got a basic sound here. If I knock it out of phase, quite a different sound. Again, what does that sound like? Think about, you need to familiarize yourself with your gear. If I go to that pickup combination, the two pickups together and out of phase, what am I hearing? Well, out of phase, a word often uses like nasal or a bit quacky. It's not universally usable, but it does have its uses. Okay. But let's move on and start talking about how the guitar interacts with effects. So, just using the Telecaster, we've been playing so far on clean channel on the amp with just a little bit of reverb, so just the bridge pickup on its own. Now, obvious place to start would be, let's add some overdrive to the sound. So I've got a clone down on the board here. I can add that. So how about those two pickups together? And out of phase. Compare that and without the overdrive. So with the sound clean, you've got that clear distinction between the sound when the guitar pickups are in phase or out of phase. You can still hear that difference with overdrive. Yeah, so you can hear the different sounds. You know, the various factors that are in the signal chain are always present. So you've got the way that the overdrive pedal changes the sound of the guitar. Now the clone, it's adding some overdrive, it's changing the EQ curve a bit, it's got a little bit of a mid hump to it. So you're hearing that regardless of what pickup combination you've got, you get like a clone type of sound from that pedal. And if you're playing with the pickups in that like in phase combination, you've got that sound whether you're playing clean or you're playing through the overdrive. If you take the pickups out of phase, you've got that like more nasal, more quacky characteristic, whether you're playing clean or you're playing with overdrive. So it's not like you've got some completely new thing comes along. What you're hearing is a combination of the things that you're familiar with. Now, likewise, if I took the clone out of the signal chain and let's say I played like a an Angry Charlie, which is more of an overdrive distortion, or out of phase. You can hear it's a different voice of overdrive, isn't it? It's a bit more harmonically rich. The gain's a little bit higher on the setting here, so you're getting a little bit more distortion. But you can hear the fundamental sound of the guitar. You could tell quite clearly there if I was using the in phase or the out of phase pickup settings. I'm using these because they're probably the most extreme example of the sounds available to you. But you see what I mean? If you understand the fundamental sound of your guitar, and you also, in isolation, without any fancy pickup switching, understand what the sounds of your effects are, then you can bring them all together and consider what combinations are going to work. So this largely started about a discussion about how pickups and pickup switching works, and talked about understanding what the pickups sound like and how what your sonic frame of reference is for the pickups. But something similar applies for effects. You know, if you've got different pedals down on your board, understand what it is that they actually do and how you can use them. So as an example, I've got let's try like a Duke of Tone down here. The gain's set reasonably low. Compared to the clone. You know, or that Angry Charlie. But you're still hearing the sound of a Telecaster bridge pickup. You know, and I could add in other effects. I could add in like a chorus. You know, think how that sounds. We've got the clean sound with just the bridge pickup on its own, the chorus, or the delay, or the distortion, or the two together. You're hearing the sum of those sounds. If I just change the pickup from, let's say, the bridge to the neck, you're getting the same effect that you were getting before on the clean channel. You're getting the voice of the neck pickup as opposed to the voice of the bridge pickup. And some sounds, some combinations you will find work better than others, but understand what sounds you've got available to you. And depending on your guitar, you'll have different levels of complexity in the pickup switching and so on. And then you can get into, you know, playing with tone knobs and volume settings and so on. But understand the voice of the guitar. You know, if your pickup has a particular, is like a higher output, it's more likely to drive the amp and give you maybe a little bit more distortion, or it's going to push the amp into breakup more than a low output single coil pickup would. If it's quite mid-focused sounding pickup, so like the JB in my Williams Evo there, then that's going to interact with a really mid-forward drive pedal like a Tube Screamer. There's more, because there's just so much more going on in the mids than something like a Strat bridge pickup might. There's no hard and fast rules. It all comes down to, I'm repeating myself, but it's important, understanding what your gear is capable of, and then putting everything into combination and using it in like a real world use case. And also be sympathetic to, if you're playing in like a band context, where you sit in the mix and not using up frequencies that other people are wanting to use, otherwise you will just get lost. That's a bit of a tangent. I don't want to go down that particular rabbit hole now. But hopefully that's given you a bit of an idea of things to think about. Basically, what we've got is a fundamental voice with each pickup, or combination of pickups, or pickups switched in particular ways, and that will be true regardless of what other effects or bits and bobs are between your guitar and the amplifier. I remember I did a video, God, years ago now, where somebody had asked me a question. It was like, oh, you talked about using a particular effects pedal, but I didn't realize it would sound different with different guitars. I just thought like a chorus effect sounds like a chorus effect. I hadn't realized a chorus effect with a Tele sounds different to a chorus effect with a Strat or a chorus effect with a Les Paul. And that's absolutely true, because you have the fundamental voice of the guitar and the voice of the effect, and all these other things. So if you understand what the individual component parts of your gear are capable of, whether it's the pickups or the individual pedals, and understand how they work together. Like that comment, I think it was really on the money, about starting off simple, take the effects out and just listen to the sound of your guitar, and then start to bring the effects in. It's all about listening actively, using your ears and thinking about what it is that you're hearing. It's a real rabbit hole. There's no right ways to do things, no wrong ways to do things. But as you play and you experiment and you get more experience with your gear, hopefully it should start to come together and you can exploit all of the features of your guitar, all of the features of your pedal board and your amp and whatnot, creatively and effectively in a musical context. Okay, I hope you found that useful and interesting. If you did, then please click the like button down there if you really enjoyed it and you want to see other videos that I post on the channel, and please click the subscribe button and click the bell icon so you're notified of any new videos that I upload. You're welcome to leave a comment. YouTube's not very good at notifying me when people leave comments on videos, so if there's something you particularly want to draw my attention to, rather than playing Russian roulette as to whether or not I'll see your comment, you're better off sending me an email to here, whether it's about guitar playing, guitar gear, music theory, anything at all. If you've got a question, send it through and I'll try and get around to answering it in a future video. Okay, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.